Hello, everyone. Welcome to our June edition of the Filibuster, our government affairs update. Joshua Habersky here with Glenn Loop. We are going to talk about some federal as well as state happenings going on in the premium cigar sector. Glenn, why don't we kick things off on the state front with your update?
Very good, Josh. Well, we're at that magical time of the year that's sort of the halfway point for state legislatures, many of which have already adjourned and gone home. As I'm fond of saying, over the number of years, all of them should go home. No good can come from this. So, to demonstrate that point, and it occurred since our last filibuster update, is the New York generational smoking ban proposal. This legislation introduced by a member of the assembly. Um, if you were born after, I believe it was January of 2007, you would be banned from purchasing any tobacco product for the rest of your natural life. Literally. We've seen this around the world. We've seen legislation introduced in California, Massachusetts, Indiana, even Tennessee. But given New York's significance as a market and as a location in the country, it's a dangerous precedent. And it was introduced 2 weeks before they were scheduled to adjourn. So I think we can bank on this legislation being back in 2027. So we highlight that. We'll have a standing petition on cigaraction.org and our new and improved website later this year that people will be hearing about. So let your voices be heard on that proposal as soon as possible. Also, while we're on New York, we still have the tax cap bill pending and cigar bar bill pending. So some significant legislation under New York on cigaraction.org. It's also occurred since our last filibuster update, and we're very pleased to report the passage of a tax cap, a 75-cent tax cap in the state of Illinois. It was linked to a remote sellers bill, so there'll be a more level playing field on the tax front with our New York retail, I'm sorry, our Illinois retail network. This significant piece of legislation, a truly group effort with our brethren at the Cigar Association of America, Cigar Rights of America, everybody playing their part. But I really want to commend the leadership of Phil Ledbetter and Mike Gold on the ground in Illinois to usher this across the finish line after years of trying. So a significant occurrence having Illinois join the club of tax cap states for the premium cigar industry. Since we're at that point where a lot of states are adjourning or are a little dormant, no tax increases that were pending in Delaware, Massachusetts, Georgia, New Jersey, and Mississippi. Tax caps are safe in Rhode Island and the state of Washington, arguably the two worst bills of 2026, Rhode Island and Washington State. Cannot commend enough the activity and engagement of our retail network in Rhode Island and Washington State to help fight that off. But once again, they'll be back in 27. Also in 26, passage of a South Dakota cigar bar bill, tax reduction in Kentucky, and we actually had a positive committee hearing on a uniform adult age bill in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a bill that across the board says if you drink, gamble, cannabis, tobacco, 21 is the age. It uniformly recognizes 21 as adulthood in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I want to highlight that soon, later in the month of July, we'll be having our annual National Conference of State Legislatures cigar event. It's an opportunity for us to network with state legislators from all over the country in one location. We've now done this in Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky, Boston, and now it's going to be in Chicago. So we look forward to inviting our Illinois network of retailers to join us at that event as well. And just to lay the groundwork, we're already starting to plan for significant legislation in 2027. And at the front and center of that is going to be attempting to lower the tax and tax cap in Indiana and to protect the tax caps by removing the sunset clause on the tax caps that were passed in Louisiana and Nevada. And if I haven't mentioned your state by now, I can't figure it out. But if I didn't mention your state and you're curious, please write me at Glenn GLYNN at premiumcigars.org. But that's really the state of our country as we see it today, Josh.
Yep, and Glenn and I will be doing our virtual trainings in September, early September. So we'll be getting those scheduled. We typically do those on the regional basis. So that's kind of our next big effort in getting the state associations as well as our retail members ready for 2027 and the slew of bills that we'll be facing there. But on the federal front, we do have a couple other updates that I want to go over. Obviously, the tariff situation is something that's been ongoing. We filed last Friday our last tranche of 6 comments on the latest proposal there. Those comments are due July 6th. So we're a little bit ahead of the game on those submissions, arguing, still for consideration for premium cigars in the exemption light, calling to attention that the products themselves cannot be domestically manufactured at levels to meet market demands and the like. So this is, I believe, our 4th tranche of submissions in the various different tariff related open comment periods. Also working on a comment related to an executive order. This is an area, the executive order is on strengthening customs enforcement. So we're working with manufacturing partners and import partners and distributors to see how we can streamline the importation process at the various ports and offer some recommendations to make that easier and streamline that. That was something that the president, through executive order, released and is seeking those comments, the executive office. So we're working with one of our attorneys on that. And there'll be an announcement shortly following once that's done. I believe we'll be done with that process in late July and submit shortly after. And then, of course, I think last Friday with the most pressing item, the new FDA regulation on foreign tobacco factories. This is something that the PCA is releasing a formal position statement on that should be coming out within the hour. I know that Ryan Parada, our consultant, myself, Glenn, a lot of us have spent the last day really sifting through the 200-page proposed regulation. I think the long and short of it is that we have significant concerns with this, kind of switching from the product level to the factory level, the crossover of the regulatory effect on manufacturers of mixed use products, some cigars that are premium and also ones that don't meet that definition, as well as pipe manufacturing. So we will be weighing in, expressing those concerns. This is a little bit of a lighter version of the tobacco manufacturing practices standards. There's elements of that from a 2023 proposed regulation that we see in here. And there's a lot of unanswered questions that, we will be seeking information from the FDA and engaging on that. But I can say formatively that the association will be filing a comment expressing concerns on the regulation itself, consistent with our past position, and fighting on behalf of our retail and manufacturing members as it relates to pushing back on overly burdensome regulations. So that is something that you will see our statement released within the hour on that. And if anyone has questions, they can feel free to reach out to our team as we go through the specifics there. Glenn, any other items that you want to cover related to advocacy in general?
Well, just based upon some things that have been said in the cigar media over the last couple of weeks, I want to reinforce because it's a precursor to what can happen in other places throughout the United States, and that is this community to community to community effort to pass generational smoking bans in Massachusetts, or as they are more fond of calling it, nicotine-free generation. PCA is a party to a coalition of tobacco interests that are fighting this at the grassroots level. So I want to highlight a website where folks can learn more about it and how to combat these types of proposals at the local level in Massachusetts. And it's a model of what can happen everywhere, and that's Citizens for Adult Choice. Citizens for Adult Choice. And you can follow them on Instagram and other social media channels. And it's a way to keep up with what's going on in those battles in again, neighborhood to neighborhood, literally approach. We're at a real quagmire in Massachusetts in that these types of proposals can be passed unilaterally by boards of health without the elected officials even having to acknowledge it. So I just want to highlight that because it's come up over the last couple of weeks. So I encourage folks to look at Citizens for Adult Choice to learn more about that type of battle in Massachusetts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the local and state level, we'll be weighing in on. I know internationally also we weighed in on working with our ECMA partners, the European Manufacturers Association. So there's been a flurry of different activities, a lot of very policy dense information out there. We're trying to streamline some of the advocacy content, but we're seeing a lot on the regulatory front and stuff that is a little bit more complex than, tax policy, for instance, where it's like, all right, the price is going up, oppose this for this reason. It's not as simple right now. We're having to dive through a lot of very lengthy documents that, on surface level, might not be as problematic, but looking into the trajectory of those items and seeing, all right, this is the onset of a problem. How do we address this from the beginning? How do we get people mobilized and recognizing that they have to weigh in on it and voice their concerns from the very beginning?
I just want to highlight one other quick issue: the tax cap and tax policy study that the PCA and the CAA financed. We now have a string of state legislative issues where this study has come clearly into play into helping make our case for and against. This study was a wonderful factor, an attributable factor in the passage of the tax cap in Illinois. And this study was certainly used to demonstrate the adverse economic consequences if Rhode Island and Washington State had gotten rid of their tax caps. So this Goss and Associates analysis, an independent economist consulting for PCA and CAA, for the first time in the history of these organizations, provided demonstrable evidence as to the economic impact of going a specific direction on state cigar tax policy. So I just want to highlight that again, that Illinois, Rhode Island, and Washington State were really the first to utilize this analysis to win the right course of action on those tax policy proposals in the states. And it's going to be used in the coming year in at least Louisiana and Nevada and I think Nebraska and Georgia and a few others as well. So it just demonstrates how good research can result in good policy.
Absolutely. And I know Glenn will be discussing state policy and federal policy in some different forums throughout the rest of the year, as well as doing some visits in different industry events. I know that I will be heading out later this summer to Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival to talk about the federal and state updates on tobacco policy. Um, I know that you had referenced our engagement in Chicago for NCSL, but there's going to be plenty of opportunities for people to engage with our team. I know that I have some retail store visits coming up in St. Louis, a few other cities throughout I know the Cheyenne area during the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. But we want to engage with as many of our members as possible throughout the summer months. And, NCSL, Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, those are perfect times to do so. On another item that's unrelated to advocacy, that I want to call folks' attention to because it just opened this week. We had our FIU luxury marketing class. Registration is open for that. So if you are interested in enrolling in that course, you can go to the FIU website and register for that. I know that we've had a lot of folks already sign up for it. Last year it sold out. This is a fantastic program, and we're really excited to have the opportunity to enjoy premium cigars on campus this year. We were not able to do so last year. We had to go to one of our members off site. But because of the educational purpose of this class, we will be able to do so this year with a specific exemption. So our team is excited to be back at FIU teaching that course. I know Ricardo, Maria, and myself will be there at different parts. And I think that people will find it to be a rewarding experience. Every year we try and do some new things, and I think you'll get a crash course on whatever aspect of the business you're in, either manufacturing, retail, sales, the like. There will be applicable lessons learned from that. So it will be an exciting, rest of the year or summer months leading into that. And then, of course, we have a lot of our marquee events that we announced at the trade show. That we have the World Cigar Show, as well as our PCA Connect Asia coming up. So there will be some more details coming from us and our partner organizations on those two activations in particular. So if you have any questions or need additional information, please let us know.
And we'll see everybody at Big Smug Vegas later this year as well.
Thank you all.